there.
Yeah, definitely.
Because all the like so far we have seen all the religious constructed by man. Like, will there be any changes in
Definitely. I mean, we all agree that the construction of values and construction of desire construction is definitely different if it is from woman as opposed to male. I pointed out just now about the entrepreneurship because the way men see how to become a leader is different from how women see leadership. So I presume there must be differences.
So, because like when it comes to Christianity, like we worship Father, we say like God is Father, and when it comes to Hinduism, Brahma is a man, and when it comes to Islam, Allah, like again man. So sir, like so I'm just trying to explain like will there be any changes
There's a literature on this social epistemology. I mean, how because it's socially derived. I mean, it's contextualized in history and all of that. But the source is from the social context. So if you look at all this, you're referring to all these texts and references. Of course, there are changes. I mean, there are Shaktism, there is feminine God, and there are other versions as well. I mean, I wouldn't say everything is male, but what the society
is made up from the Shaktis of Brahma, Vishnu and Vish. It's like that. Because there are no autonomous existence.
No, but there are temples where only women are led to be priests, like especially in Samayabhata, like in South India, Tamil Nadu. Like only woman is led to be a priest. No man can worship that woman deity. And we have records of Buddhist scholars like who were women. And like, I don't remember the names exactly, but the story comes this way: the woman defeats a man in argument. A man's called and he had to destroy her. Now she asked, what is the essence of Buddhism? Now she is a monk. She has to respond. But if she responded anyway, her chastity is gone. And there is a story like this where like he defeats a woman scholar just by asking about sexual question. So there are records there where women were actively interacting. We were not as patriarchal as now. Maybe 500 or 600 years ago, maybe 1,000 years before.
Okay, interesting. We still have one more speaker. Sorry, over to you. Ray will be next. Sorry, before that, as a next appreciation. Let's thank you very much. Very interesting topic. Okay, next we invite Ray Mumi. A very long topic. I hope she can summarize it. Asian perspective on holistic modes of experiencing and expressing holism through Advaita Vedanta philosophy.
Yeah, basically, respected chairperson and all others present here, good evening to all. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk with me in front of you all. What today I'm going to talk about is on Advaita Vedanta, that is a school of Indian philosophy, who talks about the holistic perspective, not only of experiencing and expressing, but also of life. Now, what is holism? Holism means one, where there is non-fragmentization or non-compartmentalization or non-distinction. It is only the one from which all are emerging, and it is to the one in which all are resorting at the end of life and death. So, I think this is how the Advaita philosophy has brought the many under the banner of one, and who else could have given us such a theory which is more holistic than this? But we know that in this world there are varied human beings, depending on their nature, mental structure, sex, religion, custom, creed, etc. But and on the basis of such differences, obviously they would express things in different manners, but they experience it in the very same manner. This is because all of us actually possess the same consciousness, which is pure is Brahman, who is actually infinite and unlimited. Infinite, but yeah, as we are possessing our consciousness, this is a limited consciousness because we are limited by our mind, body, intellect, sense organs, skins which are our extensions, but we cannot say he or she, it, the Brahman is unlimited. Well, this is not Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar. Brahman is the ultimate consciousness, which is the truth, which is the ultimate truth according to Advaita Vedanta, from which we all come and to which we all resort, and that is the powerhouse of everything, and that is the only one thing which exists. Even the non-living objects are manifestations of Brahman, but not in a potent form. Now they are at rest. That is why they are not being able to manifest themselves. But actually, all of it is actually the one pure true consciousness, and our consciousness is also contaminated by our misdeeds. For example, if I am wearing a white cloth and I am traveling on a train, now what happens, there are different stations that I am passing through, and finally when I am getting down from the train, the white cloth is being stained by dirt, dust, etc. So it is like that. It is the pure consciousness which is white in color, if you imagine, which is there in all of us, irrespective of from where we are coming, irrespective of the language we are sharing, irrespective of male, female, etc. But what is happening in our journey, we are meeting different kinds of people, we are behaving in different manners. Our social constructs are there, our mental constructs are there. On the basis of them, actually, if we talk about Indian philosophy, then these constructs are not important. The samaskaras or the dispositions are there within us, according to which we perform our different actions. And karma fall, that is due to our misdeeds, all these stains, or the white cloth, or the consciousness is becoming contaminated. But you know, such an objective Brahman can be known when we have this quest to know it. That is when we have this Brahma Jigyasha from within us, when we are very inquisitive to know it. For example, the red band of a police cap, it has got radium in it, and when the car light falls on it, then only it will glow. It will not glow automatically, although it has got radium. Similarly, the Brahman will not reveal itself automatically unless we have this Brahma Jigyasha within us. We will never be able to know this pure ultimate consciousness from which we are emerging. And the thing is, like, if we imagine a huge fire, flakes and sparks of fire, they are coming up from the huge main source of fire. As they are going away from the fire, they are becoming ashes. But the more they are coming towards the main source, they merge into the one fire and it becomes one. Similar is our condition. We are conditioned souls, we are limited. If like a pot is there on the table and akash means ether is there all over. Now this pot also has got ether in it. Now if you break that pot, the amount of ether which was entrapped in the pot would become one. It would mix with the rest of the environmental ether and it would become one. Similar is our condition. We are now entrapped in this body, in this culture, situation, country, etc. But if this body perishes, all these constructs would be meaningless, and this consciousness which is there, which was entrapped and limited, would become one with the rest of the consciousness, which is Brahman. And the more interested we are to know it, it will reveal to us. And once we know this Brahman, the ultimate truth completely, then perhaps we will not take life and birth again and again. And as all schools of Indian philosophy believes that we are actually suffering for this. We are coming here, we are experiencing pleasure, pain, we are experiencing different things as rewards, as punishments in our lives. But there are certain things which we are not experiencing, but we want to experience. Now our life is finishing, but we are hankering to experience those things. As a result, we are taking life again and again and again. And this process of life and death is continuing for ages. But this has to stop. So once we know that ultimate truth, we raise above this Maya. Now what is this Maya? Maya is the Brahma Shakti. This is the Shakti of Brahman only, which is actually deceiving us to see the one as many. Actually, there aren't many things. There is only one thing which is taking the shapes of different objects. It is actually one. It is like the ocean. It's a huge water body. And there are ripples, there are bubbles, there are waves going up and down. But we are thinking that there are ripples, bubbles, waves, etc. but these are only different shapes and forms of the same water. So the waters are temporarily real, but the ocean is really real. Similar, the Brahman, the ultimate consciousness, is one, but we are just temporary, we are Maya. But just by having Maya, we cannot belittle ourselves, because it is through the Maya, that it is through this material world that we have to reach to that ultimate Brahman. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa in Kathamrita, we found, he says that while he goes towards the roof, crossing the stairs, each step he points out and he says that this is not a roof, this is not a roof, this is not a roof. Finally,
now, sorry for the delay, because that Professor Gangadhar is not there. I am conducting the session. There are 4 papers. The first one is Patnam's Defense of the Idea of Conceptual Scheme by Shyamala Bala, and the second one, yours name? Sirupa Datta Chaudhary, Hegel's Dialectical Position, and the third one, oh, then you are the second one. Suraj Kumar, a critic of John Rawls' theory of affirmative action, and the last one, I think, T.P. Deshpande. Which one? But your name is not there. Whatever. Okay, no problem. Oh, you are not in this room.
I was not.
Okay, altogether we have 4 papers, and as we are starting our section late, so let us distribute our timings. I think it is now 12 o'clock, so 15 minutes will be enough for you people, and if the time will be there, then it will be possible for us to discuss. Okay? So please come one after another. Shyamala Bala, she will present her paper.
First of all, respected Madam, good afternoon, and friends, good afternoon to all. My paper title is Putnam Defense of the Idea of Conceptual Scheme. First of all, Hilary Putnam is an American philosopher and analytic philosophy. He was born in Chicago. His main interest for philosophy of language, philosophy of mind, and philosophy of mathematics and philosophy of science. Hilary Putnam has argued in defense of the idea of a conceptual scheme, in the latter in the central idea in our understanding of the universe. He does not give up the scheme content distinction altogether, through he does not accept relativism as a lasting and coherent solution. Therefore, he argued that the concepts of truth and reality must be viewed from within our conceptual scheme. Putnam's conceptual scheme is that part of his theory of language and reality. Putnam characterized the conceptual scheme as the set of the beliefs that is known by its coherence and capacity to fit the world of experience. That is to say that the conceptual scheme must be consistent with it itself and have the fitting structure of present reality. Our conception of coherence and acceptability are, on the view I shall develop, deeply interwoven with our psychology. They depend on our biological and cultural. They are by no means value-free. They define a kind of objectivity for us, even if it is not the metaphysical objectivity of the God's eye view. Here Putnam proposes 3 important theses. They are: first, the idea of a conceptual scheme is the of a coherent set of beliefs, and second, these beliefs are rooted our psychological and biological scheme, and third one, these beliefs are about an objective reality. All these three theses are such that they constitute the broad framework of the conceptual scheme that help us understand reality. To begin with the first thesis, it says that the system of beliefs is that which constitutes a conceptual scheme. Our scientific statement as well as our logical and mathematical laws make up the conceptual scheme such that we can represent the world more and more accurately. Putnam demands that the system of beliefs must be coherent and consistent such that it does not ensure contradictory beliefs. That leads to the rational criteria that are development from time to time by the rational community. Thus, a conceptual system remains the bedrocks of our knowledge and understanding of the universe. The second thesis states that the belief embodied in our conceptual scheme are biologically rooted in us. This view of conception and beliefs makes it obligatory that we search for the roots in us rather than in the outside world. That is, there are psychological constraints in the formation of concepts in the sense that the language users have certain shareable beliefs about the world which are confined in our conceptual system. Example 5 burns. The earth rotates around the sun, etc. We are born into these basic beliefs. The concepts in general represents human interest and preference such that the concepts emerge from within the human point of view in response to the environmental in which we live. The third thesis make on efforts to relate the beliefs and concepts to the world, which is the objective background of the formation of concepts and beliefs. The beliefs must relate to an objective world in the sense that is all that beliefs are about. Besides, beliefs are not subjective states of the mind but are the objective features of thinking human beings. Human beings entirely similar beings everywhere and therefore they are objectively either true or false. However, beliefs and concepts are human criteria.
होना चाहिए, धर्मनिरपेक्ष नहीं। उनके अनुसार धर्मनिरपेक्षता हमारे अस्तित्व के लिए विधायक रोध है जिससे हमें बचने का प्रयत्न करना चाहिए। धर्म जीवन के सभी पुरुषार्थों की सिद्धि करता है। उपाध्याय जी के अनुसार व्यक्ति और समाज के बीच कोई संघर्ष नहीं है, यदि कहीं है तो विकृति का लक्षण है। वे कहते हैं कि समष्टि हित के लिए व्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता को प्रतिबंधित करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। समष्टि के साथ एकात्मकता ही व्यक्ति की पूर्ण विकसित अवस्था है। व्यक्ति समष्टि की पूर्णता का माध्यम और माप है। व्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता और समाज हित का आपस में कोई विरोध नहीं है। उपाध्याय जी के अनुसार राष्ट्र प्रेम और एक अव्यभिचारी भक्ति का एकात्म निष्ठा की वस्तु है। यह विवाद या तर्क की वस्तु नहीं, यह स्वयं सिद्धियों की भांति अनिदर्शनीय है। यह विश्वास की वस्तु है। उनकी राष्ट्र की कल्पना योगी अरविंद के राष्ट्र की कल्पना से विपरीत होती है। अरविंद की भांति उनका कहना है कि प्रत्येक राष्ट्र विकासोन्मुख मानवता की एक शक्ति के रूप में अभिव्यक्ति है तथा वह उन सिद्धांतों के आधार पर ही जीता है जिनका मूर्तिमान रूप है। उनके अनुसार राष्ट्र एक जीवित वस्तु है जिसकी एक आत्मा होती है तथा जिसके संस्कारों के आधार पर उस राष्ट्र की संस्कृति निर्धारित होती है। इस तरह पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जीवन के सर्वांगीण विकास पर बल देते हैं। उनका मानववाद स्वदेशी की भावना के अंतर्गत समाज में व्यक्ति के समग्र विकास में सहायक होता है। वे पश्चिमी पूंजीवाद, व्यक्तिवादी और मार्क्सवादी समाजवाद दोनों का विरोध किए। ये पूंजीवादी समाजवाद के प्रति ऐसी राह के पक्षधर थे जिसमें दोनों प्रणालियों के गुणों तथा मौजूद हो, लेकिन उनके अतिरिक्त अलगाव जैसे अवगुण न हो। उपाध्याय जी के अनुसार पूंजीवादी और समाजवादी विचारधाराएं केवल उनके शरीर एवं मन की आवश्यकताओं पर विचार करती हैं, इसलिए वे भौतिकवादी उद्देश्य पर आधारित है, जबकि मानव के संपूर्ण विकास के लिए इनके साथ साथ आत्मिक विकास भी आवश्यक है। साथ ही उन्होंने एक वर्गहीन, जातिहीन और संघर्ष मुक्त सामाजिक व्यवस्था की कल्पना की थी। यही चीज उनके अन्य दार्शनिकों से विलक्षण स्थिति प्रदान करती है जो वर्तमान संदर्भ में अधिक उपयोगी है। अंत में दो चंद शब्दों से करना चाहूंगी। आज एक बार कहें, आखिर बार कहें, क्या पता तुम न रहो, क्या पता हम न रहे। मंदिर हो या मस्जिद या किसी इमारत की, माटी तो लगी उसमें भाई हमारे भारत की। लहू था हिंदू का, अल्लाह शर्मिंदा रहा, मरा मुसलमान तो राम कब जिंदा रहा। बिछड़े बिछड़े सभी यहाँ, बिछड़े बिछड़े सभी यहाँ, आओ हम एक घर में रहे, क्या पता तुम न रहो, क्या पता।
शायरी तक चला
कह रहे थे?
जी
आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
क्या पता तुमने
जाइए। और वैसा बच्चे
मस्जिद हो या मंदिर, मस्जिद हो या मंदिर, खुदा हो या भगवान, जो भी है अपनी जगह सही है, लेकिन मेरे दिल में जो है वो सब कुछ है। खुदा भी है, भगवान भी है, मस्जिद भी है, मंदिर भी है।
ફિલોસોફી તો એવું કે છે અણુઅણુ ભગવાન જ છે સરસ વર્ષા
Respected guys और जो माननीय अतिथि और मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों, मेरा नाम वर्षा सैसियो है और मैं विक्रम विश्वविद्यालय उज्जैन की शोधार्थी हूँ। और मेरा जो टॉपिक है वो धर्म एवं विज्ञान एक दार्शनिक तुलनात्मक समीक्षात्मक अध्ययन है। भारतीय परंपरा में धर्म को अत्यधिक व्यापक अर्थ में ग्रहण किया गया है। यह केवल उपासना, पूजा पद्धति तथा ईश्वरीय अलौकिक सत्ता से संबंधित विश्वास मात्र नहीं है, वरन ये मनुष्य जो भी कुछ करता है वह सब कुछ धर्म है। गोस्वामी तुलसीदास जी ने रामचरितमानस में कहा है कि परहित सरिस धर्म नाही भाई, पर पीड़ा सम दुख अधि नाही। अर्थात दूसरों की सहायता एवं सुख पहुंचाने में से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं है। प्राय ऐसा माना जाता है कि धर्म एवं विज्ञान एक दूसरे के विरोधी है, क्योंकि दोनों ही पद्धतियां स्वरूप एवं क्षेत्र एक दूसरे से पूर्णतया अलग है। वैज्ञानिक ज्ञान मन एवं बुद्धि के द्वारा जाना जाता है, अतः वह स्वरूपतः विश्लेषणात्मक होता है। धार्मिक ज्ञान मन एवं बुद्धि से अगम्य है, जिसके कारण तर्क एवं बौद्धिक का विषय न होकर मूलतः आस्था एवं विश्वास का विषय होता है। अतः धार्मिक ज्ञान विश्लेषणात्मक न होकर संश्लेषणात्मक होता है। वैज्ञानिक ज्ञान का क्षेत्र व्यवहारिक जगत है, जबकि धार्मिक ज्ञान का क्षेत्र पारमार्थिक सत्य होता है। धर्म तथा विज्ञान का आधार मानव का सैद्धांतिक दृष्टिकोण है। दोनों का लक्ष्य सत्य की प्राप्ति हो, दोनों का उद्देश्य मानव की सेवा है। दोनों सैद्धांतिक एवं व्यावहारिक पक्षों पर जोर देते हैं, किंतु फिर भी धर्म और विज्ञान के बीच विरोध एवं अंतर दिखलाने का प्रयास किया जाता है। धर्म और विज्ञान का विरोध बतलाते हुए कहा जाता है कि धार्मिक मनोवृत्तियां व्यक्तिगत होती है। प्रत्येक व्यक्ति धर्म के प्रति अपना एक दृष्टिकोण होता है। धर्म हमें सिर्फ वास्तविकता का ज्ञान ही नहीं अपनाना चाहते, बल्कि वास्तविकता का मूल्यांकन भी करते हैं। प्रत्येक व्यक्ति इसके विपरीत वैज्ञानिक प्रवृत्ति व्यक्तिगत रहित होती है। यह एक वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण में समय का कोई स्थान नहीं होता है। एक वैज्ञानिक को विज्ञान के नियमों को मानने में किसी प्रकार का कोई संकोच नहीं होता है। विज्ञान का उद्देश्य कार्य कारण सिद्धांत के द्वारा वस्तुओं के बीच स्थिरता कायम करना होता है। विज्ञान विश्व की विभिन्न परिस्थितियों के बीच कार्य कारण संबंध को उपस्थित कर संतोष की सांस लेता है। विज्ञान के अनुसार प्रत्येक दृश्य वस्तु एक दूसरे से संबंधित है, जिसके फलस्वरूप विश्व में आकस्मिकता और संयोग का कोई स्थान नहीं होता। परंतु विज्ञान से जब पूछा जाता है कि कार्य कारण की श्रृंखला चार प्रमुख विज्ञान से जब पूछा जाता है कि एक व्यवस्था का निर्माण किस प्रकार करते हैं, तो विज्ञान मौन हो जाता है। इसका उत्तर पाने के लिए एक यांत्रिक संबंध की सीमा का त्याग कर प्रयोजनात्मक दृष्टिकोण को अपनाना आवश्यक हो जाता है। धर्म का उद्देश्य वस्तुओं की व्याख्या करना है। धर्म वस्तुओं की व्याख्या करने के लिए कल्पित कथाओं का सहारा लेता है। हम कह सकते हैं कि धर्म एक स्वतंत्र अनुभूति है। धर्म का संबंध आंतरिक जीवन से है, परंतु विज्ञान इसके विपरीत बाहरी दुनिया से संबंधित है। विज्ञान का संबंध मनुष्य के बाह्य अनुभव से है। मनुष्य के आंतरिक अनुभव की उपेक्षा विज्ञान करता है। धार्मिक ज्ञान एवं वैज्ञानिक ज्ञान पर सूक्ष्मता पर विचार किया जाए तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि यद्यपि यह सत्य है कि दोनों में कुछ मूलभूत विषमता है, परंतु दोनों में एक दूसरे के विरोधी नहीं है, बल्कि दोनों ही ज्ञान के दो भिन्न आयामों से संबंधित है। कुछ दूरी तक ले जाने का कार्य बुद्धि करती है, तत्पश्चात उसे आगे बढ़ाने का कार्य आस्था
आवश्यकता होती है। अतः पूर्ण ज्ञान के लिए दोनों ही अनिवार्य है, परंतु दोनों में से किसी भी कोई भी स्वयं में पर्याप्त नहीं है। बुद्धि को आस्था की आवश्यकता है तथा आस्था को बुद्धि की आवश्यकता है। बुद्धि एक सीमा तक आकर ठहर जाती है, ऐसी स्थिति में उसे आगे बढ़ाने का कार्य आस्था ही कर सकती है। इस प्रकार बुद्धि एवं आस्था एक दूसरे के विरोधी न होकर एक दूसरे के संपूरक है।
Now I invite Pradeep Kumar Vishwas for his presentation.
The liberal English rendering is worship not God for God's sake. It hardly matters for him. Worshipping him is for our success. Actions should conform to our capacity. Success, after all, is his prerogative. Sown does not necessarily sprout. It feeds only if there is harvest. Sowing is an effort, but growing is grace. The effort is not easy without grace. Knowledge is wasted and effort futile. All is waste, chance is grace. Ask a childless, you did take efforts, why this embarrassing situation? Surrender to him after doing your best. And in conclusion, Dr. Parnekar, the proponent of Veda-based holistic philosophy of Purva, has emphasized on all the things, that is knowledge, jnana, action, karma, and devotion to upasana as envisaged in the Vedas. Only by adopting all these three means, man can live happily. Every individual wants to live, nobody wants to die. This is a divine instinct and he wants to live. This is man's divine instinct and he wants to live happily. And he wants to live according to his wishes. This is the result of conditioning. For past few centuries, owing to the constant hammering of moksha as a goal of individual's life, and only knowledge is the means, therefore, he became indifferent to life and living. Dr. Parnekar refuted this and forcefully and logically preached Purva's holistic approach, adopting knowledge, action, and upasana. Abhinava Bangas are simplified forms of Purva philosophy, holistic philosophy of Purva. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you, Satya Narayan, for a wonderful depiction of holistic way of life. Invite questions.
Yes, one question is there. How is Abhanga inspires for action of the individual, and is that action ultimately leading to the fulfillment of the life goals?
Dr. Parnekar, as a guru, through his dialectics, because he is the only philosopher who did propound his philosophy, but didn't insist on publishing that philosophy during his lifetime. He got his PhD in 1948, but his son posthumously published that philosophy, that treatise, original treatise, in 1983. But he took care of publishing the dialectics on Purva, and dialectics are sort of manual of living life. And through dialectics, he taught his disciples on one-on-one basis. That was one aspect. And the most important aspect was by his own example. His thrust was on conduct. He said, it doesn't matter how much time you spend with God, but it is important that you conduct rightfully, individually as well as in society. And through these two tools, he motivated and taught his disciples, and who have become role models in the society. With the result, Professor Shubalan, there are thousands and thousands of people for whom way of life, and now we have such a large following, almost as a family. This was his effort in creating a world order to follow this philosophy, to make humankind happy. He didn't discriminate in race, religion, sex, occupation, etc. And this is how such So this is how he tried to propagate and instill his philosophy, motivating people to way that he contemplated.
Any questions? I'm just curious about this philosophy. You integrate this music and poetry. How do you, through this engagement with the one-to-one, or does he conduct classes in neighborhoods, community, or his followers take all his meetings and then they have budgets? What is the method?
His far as prose is concerned, his books as dialectics are
the inequalities are just. Inequalities are just when they are related to the benefit of the least advantaged people of the person.
I understand inequality is just.
Okay.
It is not just. But can we change it? Is it in our hands?
No. For example, here I am.
No, we are. Why I am asking you? We are just analyzing external actions, external circumstances.
Actually,
we are not analyzing.
Actually,
inner circumstances behind that action.
We cannot change the talent and the effort.
Right.
It can never be changed. But we can manipulate something. For example, we can provide some resources. For example, we are applying so much tax. For example, Sachin and Akshay, they are the highest taxpayers in India, and our government is taking with the help of them, doing something for the welfare of the least advantaged people.
That is a different thing. That is charity. That is a charity point.
Yeah.
But what I mean to say, even if you give any help, any amenities to so-called poor, but will you be able to lift them up? Till the time their mentality is not changed.
Actually,
because we are trying to change external actions, external circumstances.
We should make them irrelevant.
First, in your study, it would be better if you conclude this, whether inner circumstances have to be changed or not.
Actually, sir, it will 15 minutes actually.
You can. I'm not asking you to put it on your paper, but just give it a thinking.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other?
Okay, now the third paper by Srirupa Chaudhary. Yeah, Srirupa Chaudhary will present her paper. Please go. Please give me the papers, though I know the authorities have already them, but I will just make the comments and deposit it. Okay, so all the 4 papers must be with me.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Srirupa Chaudhary. I am from Tripura University. My paper name is Hegel's Dialectical Position. Hegel's philosophy is known as the dialectical philosophy, and his method of philosophizing is also known as the dialectical method. Hegel's philosophy marked a definite stage, being an attempt to overcome the separation of laws and forms of thought from those to the objective world. In Hegel philosophy, the subject go identified with the objective. Hegel introduced content or objectivity into the logic which was considered until there only a subjectivity. Dialectic is a method which tries to explain this world of change and evolution in terms of unchangeable ideas. The roots of dialectic can be found in the dialogues of Socrates. In the early stage of the development of philosophy, Socrates expounded the method of dialogue. A dialogue is a process of conversation, argumentation, and mutual supplementation of ideas between two individuals. With dialogue, a method is evolved in which the encounters with other thinkers are essential. We can find such examples in Socrates' dialogue. Here, the totality of the moments of participation come to be on a specific subject. 2 or more than 2 thinkers exchange their ideas through argumentation with the aim of the search for truth. In ancient philosopher, especially in the Greek philosophy, used the word dialectic. At the time, because of the ideological priority of the formal law of contradiction, this dialectic could not yield much fruit. Hegel calls the ancient dialectic as a negative dialectic. Hegel was an idealist philosopher. Idea is superior to Hegel's philosophy. From idea, everything originates. Idea is itself being. Being is idea only. All others are determinations that come and go during the dialectical movement to this ideal being. According to Hegel, dialectic is both a method of demonstration and an ontological principle also. As method, it is meant to show necessity of development or transition from one stage of consciousness or of history or from one abstract category of logic to a higher stage or category. In Hegel's philosophical system, there are two terms are central, and these are the operative terms are central, and these are the operative terms. There are contradiction and subletion. In fact, these are the two separate terms but mutually interdependent, and under certain circumstances they pass into each other. Kant regarded knowledge as made up of two components, factors, from these form and matter of knowledge. Hegel carries out the Kantian theory of knowledge to its logical consequences and maintains that the forms and the matter of knowledge are not quite foreign to each other, but that forms of our mind are already embedded in experience. The world is the objective manifestations of the absolute spirit. The finite minds are the finite reproductions of the divine mind. God has evolved the world according to the same forms and categories as we apply to the object of our experience. The categories of our mind are also the categories of divine mind. Hence, the a priori categories of our mind not only apply to phenomena, but also to the so-called thinking themselves beyond phenomena. Thought and reality are at the bottom identical. The framework thought is in harm with the framework reality. For that, Hegel says, what is rational, what is real is rational, and what is rational is real. The categories of thought corresponds to the category of reality. There is a dialectic movement of thought from thesis to antithesis and from them to synthesis, which reconciles them. The synthesis becomes again a thesis from which thought moves to an antithesis. From the thesis and the antithesis, thought moves to the higher synthesis, which reconciles them, and so on, until it reaches the absolute idea, which reconciles all contradictions. Hegel was an idealist. His idealism is known as objective idealism. In Hegel's objective idealism, the absolute spirit is immanent in nature and mind as universal reason. In nature, absolute spirit is unconscious and become conscious reason in finite minds. The absolute is the universal reason. It is manifested more and more in matter, life, and mind. It becomes conscious in the human mind. The individual is subjective mind, the society is objective mind, God is the absolute mind. There is a dialectic movement of the absolute or universal reason in nature. There is a dialectic movement of the finite reason in man. They correspond in each other. The dialectic movement is a process or evolution through thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. A is thesis, non-A is antithesis. They are reconciled in synthesis B. B is a thesis, non-B is antithesis. C is a higher synthesis of B and non-B. The absolute is the highest of unity of self-consciousness, which is manifested in the distinction of subject and object, self and not self, ego and non-ego, finite minds and nature, and their interrelation and harmony. Nature is the externalization of the absolute or universal reason. It is rational. The finite minds are reproductions of the absolute. In Hegel's dialectic process, three stages are there: thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Thesis is always regarded as immediate or as characterized by immediacy. The third term is the merge of meditation and emerging a new immediacy. And this process goes on. Being as it first comes before us is the immediate, the simple and undifferentiated. The very self-identity and indeterminateness give rise to the category of nothing. The very self-identity and give rise to the categories nothing. With nothing we have the meditation, which is the same as difference. division, distinction. With the help of nothing, being has developed within itself. The distinction between being and nothing and this differentiation is mediated. In becoming, the difference are absorbed in an identity and thus we have a new immediacy. Thesis and antithesis are abolished in synthesis. The dialectic method tries to explain this world of change and evolution in terms of unchangeable ideas. Hegel would explain the logical transition from the abstract to the concrete, from the more general to the less general idea. Hegel's dialectic motivated by the negative or the contradictory character of the categories. Hegel categories denoted and deal with the reality. So dialectic operating in reality is basically the dialectic nature of the categories. Thank you.
The paper, as you see, deals with Hegel's dialectical method, and as it is well known, this dialectic originated in the Greek civilization, which as a student of philosophy we all inherit even today. And I think it's a good, good attempt to illustrate his position quite clearly. Now the paper is open for discussion. Anyone? Is there anyone? No. So, if there is, okay.
So basically, Hegel is an idealist. Okay. So his quotation, rational is real, real is rational. So it is like he framed his own ideas like in an abstract sense. Okay, so how the abstract sense will be coming in the concrete? Like it is his own ideas. Okay, so how that is, can we see those ideas in the concrete sense? Like beingness, that is being, nothing, then becoming. So how he is able to prove these things? So like it's an idea only, no?
Yes. No, actually, Hegel was a follower of Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant make a distinction between appearance and reality, or we can say phenomena and noumena. Okay. Immanuel Kant talking about thesis and antithesis. There is no conclusion. He just make a gap between appearance and reality. Hegel tried to overcome this gap through this dialectic process. Thesis, antithesis, then synthesis. That's why Hegel says that what is rational is real and what is real is rational. That means, according to me, what we appear in this world, this is a part of the real world. Okay, but actually, according to Immanuel Kant, we just see this experience world and we just unknown and unknowable this nominal world. But Hegel wants to say that this unknown and unknowable, there is nothing about like unknown and unknowable. There is a relation between this experience world and this real world. That's why Hegel take this method, dialectic method, to overcome the gap between appearance and reality.
That is the dialectics of opposites.
Yes.
He wants to prove.
Yes, yes. That means minus, not P is equal to P. Minus is equal to plus. Like this. Okay, thank you. Okay.
You see, this time, as a regular invitee of this Congress, I find a very interesting thing. Students are so very confident in presenting their papers, and this should be like that. Okay, I am now inviting the last participant of this session. Please come, sir.
I mean, just little, not much. She has it, you know. Anyway, respected chair and friends, my namaskar to all of you. This paper doesn't belong to this group. Actually, it was yesterday in ethics and social philosophy. But there was demand for
some people to be moved yesterday to move out today, so I just accommodate them. Because I don't want to move out, you know. I hope since my topic is relevant to all family, it is interesting and useful to you guys. My background is psychotherapy and family counseling. I practiced for 20 years in USA. Now I'm retired here and live in Barodara, Gujarat. I'm also a follower of Dada Bhagwan that you have come to know while you are here. And my practice and this paper both combines my experience in thinking from both the disciplines. As you all know, in every family, numerous decisions are made every day basis. It could be simple to complex, small to big, just like what to cook today, to which school we have to choose for our child. So, how such decisions are made greatly influences the harmony and peace within a family. In my practice, I observe that decision-making process cause a lot of strain, stress and conflict in a family. Since holistic way of thinking and living certainly includes harmonious living within a family, I have chosen decision-making in family system as my topic. As I go through my talk, I mostly refer to husband and wife, but the concept described are useful to any family structure. It could be just couple with kids or parents or others. You know, so far they are living in the same family, this can be applied. Let me start with a question. How many of you believe that husband and wife should have same right to decide on family matters? Not in majority though. I thought it would be majority, but anyway. In view of the contemporary concept of gender equality and feminism, it is correct to say that both husband and wife should have equal rights. Many family therapists also believe that. But the reality is that the family is an organization. And no organization could have more than two people having equal rights, or could have more than one boss. Theoretically, even a nation has only one prime minister. There could be deputy prime minister, but can't be two prime ministers. Logically, this is not possible, and still most of the people strive to do that. And once this is accepted that logically this is not possible, and it is understood well, then question arises, who has that power out of two, or who has the final say in decision-making process? It used to be that man was considered the head of the household and was having final say. Others were expected to accept and follow magnanimously. However, this model does not work anymore in the most of the family, and in the absence of any established norms to replace that norms, everyone in the family, mostly innocently or deliberately, thinks he or she has equal or even sole right to decide. Such a scenario leads to an ongoing arguments, quarrel, and even breakdown of the family. Here, in order to show in general how does decision making should be conducted in a family, I would like to give a simple example. It is taken from the life stories of holistic scientist Dada Bhagwan. It goes like this. Dada's wife Hiraba, her name was Hiraba, would always ask Dada, which vegetable should I buy? And Dada would reply, whatever you like. So at some point Hiraba stopped asking. Then later, Dada one day asked suddenly, why did you make this bitter melons vegetable today? Hiraba looked, oh, I was asking every day, and you always say whatever you like, so I stopped. And why you are complaining, I don't understand. So Dada said, we have to maintain the custom of you asking me what vegetable should you buy, and me replying you whatever you like. Thus, through this simple example, Dada shows importance of Hiraba having right to decide in the matter pertaining to her, while recognizing the importance of her taking input from Dada. It also shows how individual freedom, mutual respect, understanding, and appropriate participation is maintained in decision-making process between husband and wife. Dada also talked about areas of decision-making. He used to say that Hiraba decides in the matters pertaining to running of the household, and he would not interfere. And he decides in the outside matters, and she would not interfere. Anyway, now the life has become much complex, and gender roles have become ambiguous. Hence, such simple division of area between husband and wife mostly does not work. In my practice as a marriage and family therapist, therefore, I developed a list of areas covering various aspects of the family life. A couple can, this gives us some of the areas that there are many, but just one slide I could put 17 so you can read, just get some idea about what kind of area it could be. It covers, for one family I developed a list of 45 such items, and it covers everything that family encounters in decision making. Once this list is made in a family, then they have to first pre-decide themselves, either within themselves or with the help of therapists if they cannot decide themselves. In particular area, who would have final say when such situation arises. And if that is settled, then when situation arises, then the discussion remains under some control. Everybody knows that ultimately this person has final say. Like for kids, which college he has to go. If it is decided that a kid will have final say, then parent would have different kind of way of discussing with the kid rather than, oh, you go to this school, So that changes the tone and style, everything. Once it is pre-decided. You can't decide when the subject comes up. You have to pre-decide, sit down and decide which area will, like we had in the past only 2 areas, but now we could have 41 areas. So this is self-evident what kind of areas you can have. It covers everything like how home building, furnishing, kitchen aspects, kitchen furnishing, cooking, career, financial matters, family planning, parenting, religious matters for the family, everything you have to cover. Relationship with your relatives, in-laws, what kind of gift you will give. I used to be in US, right? There was a lot of time. There will be fight only to what they should, when they visit India, then what they should take for their families, There will be always so much fight. Even in my family there used to be fight. So it pre-decided that for your family you will decide within this limit or this something like that. Then the fight becomes much more manageable. Argument becomes manageable, constructive, suggestive, things like that, participatory. That is my experience, detailed experience. But anyway, ultimately this is an intellectual approach. It is professionally known as cognitive behavioral approach. It works in most of the cases, but not in all cases and not to the full extent. Because it still requires cooperation, following the rules, If somebody is not meant for that, then it doesn't work. Of course, therapists can help, but generally it is difficult. It helps family avoid breakdown and maintain workable state in a family. However, from my experience, I can say that the real peace and harmony becomes possible only when family members adopt some of the teaching from holistic science of life and living. It doesn't have to be coming from Dada necessarily, but somewhere those ideas, if adopted, then this problem, peace and harmony, which we all want to have in life, could be possible. These are some of the Dada's teaching that applies to this particular problem. The first one is accept your spouse as he or she is, because she is just right for you, for your own development. And results of your karma and asking. Now you may not believe karma part, or may believe, but asking is correct, because when you choose, you think you want this. It changes later. So it is your asking. And inherently, if you make it work, then it is for your development. That also everybody can experience if they have worked through their problems. Okay? It gives a development themselves. So it is for your development. Second, adjust. Commit to adjust to your spouse and others, no matter what. Now, no matter what is little excess I have put, but final answer is there, that's why. Anyway, if you don't want to have no matter what, that's fine. You can keep open for divorce if you can't adjust. Not like old-fashioned, no matter what, you die with this one. So you can keep it open. But still, if you have this commit to adjust attitude, it makes a big sense. Like in our generation, I'm in 70, we all were committed to make adjustment. So our divorce rate were very small, 1%, 2% maybe. Even not that, I guess, I don't know. But if you are open, that if I can't adjust, we can take divorce. If that is the mindset, then see, by probability principle, there will be 50% failure. Because you either you adjust or don't, there are two options, So 50% adjust, 50% do not adjust. So that is what has happened in all developed countries right now. Divorce rate is 50%. It is played out there. So keeping it open and not making commitment to adjust itself makes you prone to divorce. So adjustment is very important. And Dada is one example. It's just, he always gives very simple example. Like his wife has made a curry which has more salt. He would say, I won't complain, I would just put some water and eat it. So that kind of adjustment attitude he was showing, Oh, wishful. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So that is I can go on each one to elaborate as per time, but there is no need. I was planning not to do it. So in concluding, in holistic science, these all points are explained in context of our life, in ultimate liberation and overall functioning of the universe. These all points. Thus, once understood, living as per these rich teachings becomes natural and logical choice for ourselves. If we understand theory behind it, we get peace and harmony as a byproduct. This is my own experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your unique presentation. As the chairperson, I must give the opportunity to ask, and then I will conclude as I have some other assignments. If there are anything you may ask. Yeah, sure. That's what I'm doing.
I think if decision making is with consensus, then there will be no fight, no quarrels, or no clashes.
Decision making by confession.
Consensus.
Consultation.
Consensus. With each other's
Agreement. But that is understood, but when the agreement cannot be reached, that's like I had one client, a simple thing like a 3 years child had, and wife believed that child can see TV video when they cannot have time to watch them, like using as a babysitter. And husband was strongly against it, right? Now they cannot agree, they kept on arguing, right, about it. So what happens, they don't come to decision, but they stay together in the state of indecisiveness. Then everybody tries to play, yeah, huh?
They are trying to understand.
Yeah, he imposed without making decisions. And how it plays out, if you have time, I can tell how it played out, that was what I can say. Yeah.
I don't want to. I studied in Berkeley in California, in the US, and they cremate. They create very wrong images. That's right. So I work with Iranian embassy or something like that, and they told me that please come and you see everything like Russia. And then I changed my mind.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I write a lot of article, and then I introduce about Islam and then about Quran, and then yes, for example, like, yes, something like that. Yeah, medicine, children, what you have, everything like that. Yes, and then, for example, another thing here. When we talk about architecture, you know, yes, I come to Siraj, and I tell you that you know, when I went to New York in America, you know that is the headquarters of United Nations, right? Saudis, Arabs, yes, side in the big hall, the great hall, and you can be proud because Darius, you know Darius, the king from Iran, Persian Empire, for the first chapter of United Nations to talk about humanity. Open with that.
There is a great saying of Sadi.
Yes.
That we all are like human bodies.
That's right, I think that people, if you should be brave enough to change your mind. Really? Why?
Okay,
That's right.
Do you have a slide or not?
I have a lot. But for example here.
What are two characters?
Yeah.
Time is limited.
Okay, I know. Here, I teach my students about women in Islam. I quote from Quran. Yes. I don't know what happened. This is one, eh? Yeah. I think something wrong. It's funny. Yeah, for example, like this is a small one. But something, yes, for example, I talk about, in Quran, and then learning right, and the spiritual role, and then, that how about the law to get married or something like that. So, my student is very surprised.
Quite different.
Yes.
What you have said is quite different.
Very different. That's right, I think
So
that.
thank you very much.
This conference, I think I talked to the organizer that I'm happy. Why? Because you invite Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist together.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks to all presenters for the nice presentation. And various aspects we have covered. Now I will call Dave. Certificate to collect the certificate first. The finger card is not here. Then take it home, please. Please come. Okay. Certificate. Before the certificate. और ले लीजिए फूल लगाइए
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Next is
Okay, one.
Wait the one. You stay
Check
here.
it out. Em không biết thế nào cả. Please.
Please. Okay.
Okay. Third is was the Tapsu. Was the swell by now? Update. Please.
Xong rồi cái là tập thể